Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. This is Renegades React, and we will be reacting to Film Theory, Batman's 3 Joker Theory, Part 1.
Part 1.
Yep.
Parenthetical reference Suicide Squad.
Okay. So,
I love the way you read these titles.
parenthetical?
I really like that.
The funniest thing I saw, okay, just quick aside. I tried not to derail these things.
Yeah, we do that.
So, I saw Will Friedle at Dragon Con on a voice acting panel, and he voiced Deadpool for one of the newer Spider-Man animated series.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he was Deadpool. He in his thing it had like in parentheses it said grunt of effort, but instead of like going, ugh, he went grunt of effort, like he was moving something, and they kept it because he was like, it's Deadpool, right? So
Yeah.
if you don't know who Will Friedle is, he was Eric Matthews on Boy Meets World.
And
That's amazing.
And he also voiced Lion-O in the new
Yeah.
in the more recent Thundercats.
And of course Ron on Kim Possible. He's Ron Stoppable.
Yes.
Grunt of effort.
A lot of other things. But just-
That's so great.
so I just thought, I was like, you know what? That's so,
Deadpool.
So, you know.
Parenthetical reference. Grunt of effort. So great.
But yeah, they totally kept it. He's like, I felt pretty proud of that. Also,
That's good.
He is like, honestly, real life, he's just a smarter Eric Matthews. That's who he is.
Well, there you go.
Really didn't have to act.
There you go.
There you go.
So super cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Actually one of those actually, I forget who he was reading for, but it was Nolan North, and he's like, ellipses, I don't feel the same way about you. Because the ... ellipses. It's just like, well,
Man.
shit, Nolan North, of course.
See, that's up there with Saints Row 4, where there's like 3 male protagonist voices, 3 female protagonist voices, and specifically Nolan North, where it's just Nolan North. So it's just Nolan North being Nolan North. And it's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, there we go, getting derailed again.
It's so great. Yeah.
First it was Micah, then it was me. I'm sorry
Sorry.
about that.
It's
Anyway.
like it's going to happen. You've seen the videos. Video starts at
And we always say, thanks, Caleb.
Video starts,
Doing the Lord's work.
Video starts at pizza roll.
Yeah.
Leave a comment if you want a pizza roll.
Shut
I
up
miss
there.
that guy. Red
Yeah.
Letter Media. Red Letter Media is the one.
Yeah,
that
Red
did
Let.
that.
Yeah. But go ahead, Micah.
Oh, just
Yeah.
the film theorists.
Okay.
Yeah. Film theory.
We're going to talk about the Joker.
All
All
right.
right. So shall we get started?
Yep.
Let's do it.
And if you don't know who the Joker is, why are you watching our show? This is best opening he's ever done, I think.
It's
He could have
up
just
there.
gotten the pug. Right? There he goes.
True Origins. Yeah, science.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film
Theory.
Theory, one of the few series that managed to make a successful crossover from video games to
Ouch.
the movies. Suck on that, Prince of Persia! But seriously, let's get right into
Seriously,
today's
guys.
theory because
Guys.
it's one I'm pretty darn excited about. The new Suicide Squad movie is coming out and none of the trailers have shown Doomsday yet. So overall, I'm fairly optimistic. But what the trailers have shown is one of my all-time favorite comic book villains, the Joker. Now, the thing I've always loved about this guy is the mystery that just follows him everywhere. Who is he? It's one of the longest-held questions about the Batman universe, but recently, DC has started to tip their hand a bit, at least in the comics. In Justice League number 42, Batman gains access to the Mobius chair, an intergalactic chair that has all the knowledge in the universe. After Batman
So
sits in the
Wikipedia
chair, he
chair.
tests it
Yep.
by asking a question that only he knows the answer to. Who killed his parents? And the chair gets it right. So with the chair successfully proving that it knows all, or at least saw the opening minutes of practically every Batman movie ever made, Batman asks the most important question of all. No, not who thought the Martha thing was a good idea in Batman v Superman, or what was the deal with the bat nipple suit, but the question that's been on everyone's mind since the earliest days of the comics: who is the Joker. We actually don't get to hear the Mobius chair's answer, only Batman's stunned reaction. Then, 8 issues and a year later in Justice League number 50, we finally learn what the Mobius chair told Batman. Now, if you thought Game of Thrones has frustrating cliffhangers, then you're gonna love this one. In the issue, Batman reveals that the Mobius chair told him that there were not 1, not 2, but 3 different Jokers. What? Way to milk it, DC. And of course, the internet lit up with theories. No Batman character was safe. Alfred, clearly the Joker. Robin, also the Joker. Batman himself, somehow still the Joker. But your guess as to why is just as good as mine. So yeah, that's all well and good, but to me, the coolest part of this reveal wasn't so much the implications for the comics, but rather the implications for the movies. Because if there are 3 Jokers in the comics, could there also be 3 different Jokers in the DC film universe? Now that's not as ridiculous as it sounds. Just look at the man behind all of this, Jeff Johns. He's a legendary comic writer and wrote Justice League number 42 and number 50, the issues dealing with this Mobius chair. He's the man responsible for DC Rebirth, and recently it was announced that he would be co-running DC Films. He's literally the man whose job it is to translate the universe of the comics onto the screen. So if anyone is gonna adhere to this monumental reveal from the comics, it's gonna be him. Looking at the Batmans that are already in the movies, surprisingly, the theory holds. Up to this point, there have only been 3 live-action interpretations of the Joker. In the 1966 Batman the movie, the Joker was played by Cesar Romero. Then in the 1989 Tim Burton Batman, the Joker was reinvented by Jack Nicholson. And of course, in the 2008 Chris Nolan sequel, The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger reinterpreted him yet again. Sure, there have been animated versions of the character sprinkled in throughout, but in terms of just live action, it's a perfect fit. But those are all the Jokers of the past. We now have the inclusion of Suicide Squad and its new Joker played by Jared Leto. That makes 4 different live-action Jokers, so what gives? Well, what if it turned out that Jared Leto's Joker wasn't a new Joker, but instead picking up the baton for one of the ones we've already seen in the past? It'd be a huge deal for the cinematic DC universe, but it begs the question, which one would he be? And is there even any proof that this assertion is even worth testing? Well, to find out for sure, we'll need to know a little bit more about the other 3 Jokers and see how the Batman comic and movies collide. The history of comics can be divided into 4 distinct periods: the Golden Age of 1938 to 1950, the Silver Age of 1956 to 1970, the Bronze Age of 1970 to 1985, and the Modern Age of 1985 to today. And comics changed a whole bunch across those different ages, and along with them, portrayals of the Joker. Now, the Golden Age was when the first superhero comics, like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, were first being published. They became really popular right after the Great Depression and during World War II, at a time when the US really needed larger-than-life heroes, and as a result feature patriotic heroes doing battle against, let's just say, foreign-looking foes. It was during this age that the Joker made his first appearance in the 1940 Batman #1. This first Joker was a deranged serial killer with a sadistic sense of humor. In the first issue ever, Joker announces on the radio that he plans to steal a diamond and murder a guy, and then he just does it. He just goes and does it. In Batman's first 12 issues, he kills dozens of people and does some pretty sick stuff, like burns smiles onto all his victims' faces and makes masks out of people's skin. People's skin! Is this the comics or Silence of the Lambs? Jeez. The Golden Age of comics wasn't just superhero stories, though. There were actually all kinds of comics. Horror, crime, westerns, romance, and they weren't just for kids either. A lot of them had themes that were pretty darn adult. In the middle of the 1950s anti-communist paranoia, though, Frederick Werdum released The Seduction of the Innocent, where he blamed comic books for all juvenile delinquency. Sound familiar at all? So obviously, as people began to get more sensitive, there became an increased call to tone down the violence of these books. However, instead of waiting for the government to censor them, comic book publishers censored themselves. In 1954, the Comics Code Authority was formed to review and approve comics by their own rules. Rules like, quote, crime shall never be presented to create sympathy for the criminal. Romance stories shall emphasize the value of the home and the sanctity of marriage. And all scenes of horror, bloodshed, gory, or gruesome crimes shall not be permitted, as well as as 37 other rules. With these
Yep.
changes began the Silver Age of comics. The Silver Age, often referred to as the Age of Innocence, was all about fantasy and optimism. Since crime and horror were heavily regulated, superheroes started battling monsters and aliens instead of people. The grittiness of the Golden Age was gone and replaced with campy humor, and the Joker was no exception. In the 1950s and 60s, the Joker went from being a mass murderer to being just a prankster. He was like a tamer version of Roman Atwood. All the Joker wanted during the Silver Age was cash. In fact, in a 1952 issue, Joker's Millions, the Joker inherits a massive fortune and just retires from crime altogether. Peace out, guys, I'm done. Until, of course, it turns out that the whole fortune is counterfeit. Oh, I hate when that happens. The Joker here
There you go,
never
Scroogey.
kills or even
Yep.
harms anyone. It's like Looney Tunes with Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny, where he just basically gets out pranked by Batman. This is also the time when he got all his gadgets: hand buzzer, spitting flower, trick guns, even his own car, the Joker Mobile.
Ah,
It took
yes.
20 years, but eventually people got sick of the saccharine Comics Code Authority and basically stopped following it, ushering in the Bronze Age. Now, the Bronze Age of comics brought the medium
And
back to a place
it was
where it
really
could
brought
address
in
social
by-
issues
by
and
several
return them
things.
to their
One of the
darker
things
roots.
was
This
Gwen
is where
Stacy's
Iron Man
death.
dealt with
Oh, yeah.
alcoholism,
That was
Spider-Man
one
broke
heavy
Yep,
thing.
there it
and
is.
he died, and the Joker became a murderer
Jesus.
once again. Yay! The difference between this and the Golden Age, though, is
Murder.
that now there was a big emphasis on the psychology of these characters. For instance, in 1973's The Joker's Five-Way Revenge, the Joker escapes from an insane asylum and systematically kills the 5 men who ratted him out. This new version of the Joker emphasized his insanity and mental instability. Instead of being an evil master criminal or a goofy prankster, the new Joker is a mentally ill psychopath who chooses not to control his own actions. The modern age of comics doubled down on this dark and gritty imagery. The best example is The Dark Knight Returns, which was a comic before it was a movie. Surprise! And just like the
Not
movie,
really a
the
surprise.
comics
I knew about
emphasize
that.
the fact that the Joker can't function or practically even exist without Batman as his counterpart. The yin to his yang. All of this should be sounding familiar. So we have 3 ages of comics and 3 Jokers: the criminal mastermind, the goofy prankster, and the psychopath. When Jeff Johns announced that there were 3 different Jokers in Justice League number 50, he was basically explaining away how the character has evolved over the past 80 years. It can be interpreted that the 3 Jokers of the Gold, Silver, and Bronze Modern Age have now just become their own separate characters. But if it's true in the comics, does it also work in the movies? Surprisingly, yes. Because when you look at it, the 3 film versions of the Joker seamlessly correspond to the 3 comic versions. The 1966 Cesar Romero Joker is the Silver Age one, a goofy prankster with crazy schemes, constantly outwitted by Batman. Romero's Joker isn't
And also,
a
it's
murderer
kind
or
of a slave to
sadistic
the time that
madman,
it was in,
he's
too,
just
because
a
that was
thief
near the end
obsessed
of the
with
Silver
robbing
Age.
banks
Yep.
and art museums. And much like the Silver Age Joker, Romero's version uses a variety of gadgets: a spraying flower, a utility belt, hand buzzers, gas grenades, and yes, even his own car, the Joker Mobile. Tim Burton's 1989 Jack Nicholson Joker is a completely different take, which makes sense because he's the Golden Age version. The Nicholson Joker's origin follows the exact same story that's given to the Golden Age Joker, where he's a career criminal who slips into a vat of chemicals after being cornered by Batman. He's disfigured, and when he sees his reflection at the surgeon's office, he goes completely insane, reinventing himself as the Joker, beat for beat like the comic. Nicholson's Joker is also a serious killer, contorting his victims' faces into permanent smiles with toxins, the same calling card as the Golden Age Joker. The Nicholson Joker also announces his plans on television, just as the Golden Age Joker announced his plans on the radio in Batman #1. They even use the exact same flesh makeup technique, which leaves us with the obvious one, the Heath Ledger Joker, the tragic psychopath. He tells Batman that he can't live without him and that they're destined to be adversaries forever.
Bronze Age.
Kill you?
Yep.
What would I do without you?
Bronze and Modern.
Bronze and Modern, yeah.
People are constantly stating how crazy Ledger's Joker is, how unpredictable he is, which reflects the Bronze and Modern Age's focus on his unstable psyche.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
So there you have it. All 3 Jokers fit cleanly into the 3 Joker comic model. But then that prompts the question. Now that Jared Leto is playing the Joker in Suicide Squad, is he a whole new character, or which Joker line would he be continuing? Are we actually going to be getting to Suicide Squad now? Mobius Chair, tell me, who is Jared Leto's Joker? What? Are you sure? No, I'm not questioning you, but what sort of proof do you have? Huh. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, that would make a really good episode. But then I'd have to do that thing where there's a cliffhanger, and I hate those things in TV shows. It's like the worst. I haven't
Dang
even
it,
done
Matt
Doctor Who
Pat.
Part 3 yet, Mobius Chair. What did the Mobius
Oh.
Chair tell Matt
Yeah,
Pat? Who
there it
really
is.
Of course it
Jared
is.
Leto's
Yep.
Joker? Would they really end on a cliffhanger after just forcing you to wait for Part 2 of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Yes.
Unbelievable. Subscribe so you can join us next week on
That
Film
escalated
Theory
quickly.
to find out. And while you're in the mood for more Joker
where'd you
action,
get a
make
hand
sure you
grenade?
click right
I
here to check out the
don't know.
Wisecrack Channel's video on the philosophy of the Joker, revealing the character's original inspirations, the true meaning behind his motives, and how his evolution over the years reflects the current state of our times. The folks over at Wisecrack always delivering loads of education with loads of laughs. Do check them out, and do make sure that you're here next week for the thrilling conclusion of this Bat saga. And in the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. A film
That's
theory.
solemn.
And cut.
Yep.
Oh,
Why art
man.
thou so solemn?
Doth
Cliffhanger's
thou
really
even
worse.
hoist?
Yep.
Oh, that meme will never
That-
die.
That guy, I can't remember the artist's name who did that self-portrait of himself.
Of him laughing.
Yeah,
And
of him
pointing?
laughing and pointing. Yeah,
Like,
he did a lot of crazy self-portraits.
I am a man. a
like
seagoing man.
one where he's waking up and he's got like these blue and white striped pajamas and like the cap,
Yeah.
and he's like waking up and yawning, and he does a self-portrait like that.
Oh boy.
Dude was really cool. I can't remember his name
Oh,
right offhand,
gosh.
but that meme is
it
my
means
favorite
priceless.
meme.
That means priceless.
oh, it's so good
Gosh.
because you can do everything with it.
Honestly, it's been 11 days. Still no part 2. Matt Pat is probably dead or out of Diet Coke.
Amazing.
Well, I'd say
I mean, he got there.
he got
eventually.
there.
Yeah.
Just took a little while, I guess.
Yep.
So, gosh, I think we can predict who it's going to be. Okay, I've seen Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
You've seen Suicide Squad.
I have.
No,
Or no, you haven't, but Micah has. Okay.
I have, yeah.
All right,
So-
make your bets, gentlemen.
Okay. I'm going to say he is actually a criminal mastermind. I think, but based upon what I saw in the Suicide Squad film, he's a criminal mastermind.
I guess I have to go with that. I wouldn't call him a mastermind, but he has a criminal organization like in the Golden Age. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I have to
criminal
go with.
organization. Not above killing dudes.
Oh no. He's also I could actually see a little bit of the Bronze Age as well, but I
Yeah,
get
the mental instability.
yeah,
But
but
I mean, it's the Joker though. All of them have some degree of mental instability. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's dug into more, which we didn't really get with this. We didn't really get with Suicide Squad.
Well, the only
because he's
weird.
not in the movie.
I
enough.
mean, other than like his little motif of being like a jester, the only like real fixation like mental instability he displayed was like his fixation on Harley.
this is true.
Because the rest of it just fit into like kind of the gag of the Joker. I mean, not really a gag, I guess. I mean, that's just
Just
the
like
character.
the shtick.
yeah.
Yeah, the character of the Joker.
I mean, if you're the Joker, you're gonna look kind of a certain way and act a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a subplot for Harley Quinn, pretty much. Which
Yeah.
actually, Margot Robbie just negotiated out
Yep, she's getting a movie.
a solo Harley Quinn movie.
I mean, it was going to happen.
Well, and what I'm thinking is it's going to involve Jared Leto's Joker more, probably. That is, if Jared Leto will ever come back, because from what I hear, he's PISSED,
That he got left on the cutting room floor.
pretty much.
I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of his Joker anyway, so
Well, honestly, I didn't feel like we got enough of him to really get a good taste of what he was trying to do. I felt if we would have got more, we would have been able to get a better sense of what he was doing. Instead, a little jump cut here, and he's doing something crazy. A little bit of jump cut here, he's doing something subtle. A little bit of jump cut here. I'm just like, give the man a full scene so that he can at least expand the character to beyond a few lines for the trailer.
Well, if I may, is the reason that he got left on the cutting room floor to shorten the movie, or because what you got in the movie was the best of what he did? That's the question.
Well, I would probably say the earlier of that, because the latter does not speak to. It doesn't speak to Jared Leto's ability as an actor, and also David Ayer. David Ayer is a tremendous director. Very few films I've seen by him I have not liked, and based upon what he was doing, based upon what my understanding is that they had 2 cuts of the film.
Mm-hmm.
One was to speed the film up.
Mm-hmm.
It was streamlined by the studio, and then there was a director's cut. Actually, the one that was streamlined by the studio also was a lot more like openly comedic instead of like full-on dry humor.
Yeah, I remember hearing that it was supposed to be recut to be funnier.
Which
Yeah.
you also have to look at, I mean, the character was written this way, and they had to craft the image of the character, and how much input did the director have into
That's true.
how they visualized the character and wrote him. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, Jared actually was told that he had a good range. From what I was told, they told Jared what this Joker what kind of person this Joker was, and then they let him run with it in terms of him creating the style and the speech, because that's what they did with Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger came up with the makeup and the speech pattern himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he even spent, I think he said, 3 months straight getting the laugh right, because he knew.
Look, the laugh's important.
Yeah, and
A lot of guys ignore the laugh, and that's about standards.
Well, and Jared Leto said that he did the same thing. He said he tried to practice on a laugh that not only sounded maniacal and classic, but also like there was more than just one screw loose. In which, for the laugh, I think he pulled off to a good degree, because the laugh that he does, it's not just the full breath of the laugh, but the inhalation that he does.
Yeah,
that also came off as really, really eerie, and I liked it.
Didn't like the laugh, like the one they had in the trailer where like the WB thing was like
Spinning.
Yeah, where it's like like oh.
Well,
you mean the Suicide Squad
hated
laugh.
that.
Well,
thing,
that one was not. Well, that was an edited version of the one they used in the movie. The one they used in the movie was more natural. I like the one that Jared Leto was going with. I mean, but that's just me. And I know I'm gonna get downvoted and hated because I liked part of what Jared Leto was doing. But you know what? Don't care.
But we're expressing opinions, and we're having a calm and rational debate about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of it's just personal taste. I mean, there's no point in getting upset about it.
Right.
No,
I mean,
no
and
point at all.
that's the real takeaway here is, I mean, you guys aren't going to come to blows over this, right? Because
No.
if you do, I mean, I need to rent an arena. And
You
sell tickets to the
why
fans.
why we're not coming to blows over this? Martha.
Oh God, can't get worse than that.
And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you very much for watching. Good night.
Bye.